Yo ho, matey, and welcome back to another cold day on the high seas. Today, I do be talking about the Plunder Patrols, the trolls that do be plundering. I really don't have anything else to go from on this point, but hello guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Plunder Patrols and the fact that they are all fiends, which means that in the Heaven and Hell, the Angel and Devil, the Fiend and Fairy and Fiend, I should say, event, they are entirely playable. Yes, for some reason, all of the Plunder Patrols are available for us to play in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, or the most recent event in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, that being the Fiend and Fairy, or the monster type event, which is honestly pretty cool. First of all, I do really like this event idea. I think it's really cool. Obviously, the Labyrinth is a bit absurd, but other than that, I do think that this is a really cool event, and I'm all here for it. And Plunder Patrol is one of the more fun decks to actually play in this event, mostly due to the fact that it doesn't rely on a single line. It is very diverse in what it does. Yes, there are obviously basic lines to go to Blackbeard and stuff like that, but after that point, the deck and the duels become a lot more interesting. And on top of that, we don't immediately lose to Labyrinth because of Bran. Bran is an absolutely insane card, being able to banish a spell trap, which is very, very nice, in a meta filled with back row. So if you go first, you equip this, and then on your opponent's turn, you just banish with Bran, and then your opponent loses a trap card, which is very, very advantageous. So let's quickly do the card by card and the explanation of how this deck functions, and then we'll hop into some replays. Starting off here with the Plunders, we're running max of all of the main deck monsters, because we only have 5, so yeah, pretty much. We start off with Whitebeard. Whitebeard and Redbeard both have the same on-field effect, where during the opponent's turn, they can special summon a Plunder Patrol extra deck monster with the same attribute as a monster in your opponent's graveyard or that they control. So they both have that on-field effect. However, Whitebeard and Redbeard, when sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, have different effects. Whitebeard special summons from deck another Plunder Patrol monster, and Redbeard equips itself to a monster. So there you go. Bluebeard has the ability to special summon itself from hand, and if it is sent from hand or field to the graveyard, it draws a card, discards, then draws a card. Golden Hair can special summon itself from either the hand or the graveyard by discarding a card. However, if it's from the hand, you do have to pitch a Plunder Patrol monster card. You can also send it from face-up field to the graveyard. Now, notably, this does also include an equipped monster. So if you have an equipped monster on your side of the field that you want to just send to the field, or from the field to the grave, you can then do that with Golden Hair. Golden Hair can then special summon itself, and then you have an additional body on your side of the field instead of an equipped card. And then, of course, we have Black Eyes, which targets a Plunder Patrol in the grave, adds it to the hand, and special summons itself, and when it's sent to the graveyard, it doesn't do anything, really. Yeah, that's basically it. For the rest of the Plunder Patrol cards, we're running one Emblem, which is the equip spell that gives it target protection and an additional boost, and can then also use use your own field and grave in order to special summon an extra deck monster, similar to how these two would function. Next up, we have the Fusion spell. It's just a fusion spell, and then on top of that, it can banish itself from the graveyard to either equip an emblem or one of your monsters to a monster. Next up, we have Triple Shipyard. Shipyard discards to search out a Plunder Patrol card, which is very nice. And then on top of that, it can also reset itself. So very, very good. And most importantly, all of your Plunder Patrol monsters gain 500 attack for each Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap card zone. This means your monsters can get very large very quickly, especially with the boost from Bran, giving them an additional 500 attack points. It means that your monsters are oftentimes very big if you have Shipyard. And then the last one, we have 2 Booty. Booty is absolutely insane in the fact that it, at least when it resolves, you're able to change the attribute of an opponent's monster, which comes up occasionally, but it does mean that you can then use things like your Whitebeard, your Redbeard, or your Blackbeard to then tag into one of your other extra deck monsters. Fantastic. Love to see it. It's also a Reborn, which is nice. As for the rest of the cards, we're just playing a whole bunch of random cards that are useful in this event. I decided to play Kurikara because it's funny, and a fairy, and a fire, and that's it. Anyway, we're also playing Skullmeister because it's also pretty decent in this event. We have ourselves the Triple Ravion. We have the Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, evenly matched, pretty standard. We're also playing Pot of Desires and Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Desires is just very good. We're maxing out on literally all of the cards, basically, except for the cards that are more situational, like these ones. So because of that, Pot of Desires oftentimes is inconsequential. so it doesn't really matter what you banish. You're probably getting what you want anyway. So yeah, it's just a free +2. And then Pot of Prosperity, because we have quite a few cards that are honestly not really useful. The Nightmares, the Baguska, the Underworld Goddess, and you can also banish, additional copies of other cards if you don't need them to get additional searches, which is very good. And Pot of Prosperity is just very good overall. We're also playing the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, the 1 Lightning Storm, the double Called By, and the double Infib. And that's it for the main deck. As for the extra deck, we're playing 2 apiece of the Liss, which is the special summon as well as Monster Negate, the Bran, which is a banish banish back row, as well as it searches out the what does it search? Monster. This one searches the monster Moark, which banishes a monster, an effect monster most notably, and searches out the spell. Then we have Yord, which is able to this one's very good in the fact that it gives your opponent a token, gives yourself a token, puts itself into the back row, and then also is able to recur a monster from the graveyard. So you make the Yord, you recur a monster, put itself into the back row, or into the Pendulum Zone. The Pendulum effect activates. It gives you a monster of a attribute that you desire in order to then use your Blackbeard or whatever it may be to go into whatever other extra deck monster you want. So very nice. Also, it's Earth, which is great. You love to have additional targets for your tag outs, which is great. So 2 apiece of all of those. We have ourselves triple Blackbeard because it is the heart and soul of the combo. That being, you go into this one and then you can tag out into basically any of the other ones, and also drawing a card, which is very, very nice as long as they have the appropriate attribute. And then on top of that, it's pretty generic as well. So yeah, 3 of that. And then 1 apiece of the Nightmare Unicorn and Phoenix, Baguska, and Underworld Goddess. So that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going first, and we have a pretty decent hand. Drawing Shipyard is very advantageous. So we're going to go Shipyard, pitch the Redbeard to grab up the Whitebeard, then normal summon the Whitebeard, special summon the Bluebeard, and go into Yord. This is the main combo. You're going to go Yord with basically any of your 2 monsters that you can, a tuner and a non-tuner. Notably, the Whitebeard and the Golden Hair are the 2 tuners, so look out for that. We're going to pitch a card in order to draw a card. We draw into Emblem, and then we're going to special summon the Golden Hair from the deck off of the Whitebeard. Now, that does lock us into Plunder Patrols for the rest of this turn, so do keep that in mind as well. Then we're going to go for the Black Eyes, grabbing back this Redbeard, and then we're going to go for the Yord here, grabbing back the Whitebeard. We're going to put the Yord in the back row and activate the effect of the Yord in order to spin for a fire. We're going for the fire here in order to go and tag out with the Blackbeard, to then give us a Baran. We're also going to activate the effect of the Golden Hair, pitching the Redbeard, so that we can then special summon out the Golden Hair here. So we're going to summon out the Bran, special summon out the Golden Hair, and then equip to the Bran, once again, a Redbeard. So now we're a little bit bigger as well. We drew into the Divicarnate, which is very funny. We're going to go into the second Blackbeard and just pass the turn. And yeah, that is a very big Blackbeard, thanks to Bran giving us an additional 500, and Shipyard giving us an additional 1,000. That makes it a 31 instead of a 16. Yes, Plunder Patrols do this, and that's one of my favorite things. They're going to start off with Dimensional Fissure, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Now, Dimensional Fissure is annoying because if we end up sending something like a Whitebeard to the graveyard, well, it's not going to go to the graveyard. However, luckily, these cards are not as bad as you might think. They all can be ashed. You can ash every single one of these. However, notably, it does discard and doesn't have to send them to the graveyard. So that's very nice. We can still discard it at our leisure. So my opponent's going to go for the Snow here, and realistically, as soon as this came down, I probably should have banished it so that they didn't get the additional effect, but it didn't really matter because they're just going to go for the Snow here and activate their trap card. And I'm like, I really don't want them to have this because if your opponent controls a monster quick effect, you can banish this card, and then special summon a Weather Painter monster, or sorry, the Weather monster, with a different name from your deck. Also, you can special summon monsters from the deck for the rest of this turn. The reason I decided to banish this is because I do not want them to get as many monsters as possible. So yeah, that was definitely the play there, at least I think. And then I see the forecast come down and I'm like, oh no, that's what I should banish. I keep forgetting how this deck functions, but it's fine. And then out comes Thundry and I'm like, okay, sure. They get an additional normal summon. They go for the Painter Canvas, or Painter Cloud. And they're going to attempt to bounce the Bran here. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to go for a second Bran. And again, these are boosting each other now. So they both are gaining 5 500 from each other, and then 1500 from the back row, which is very funny. I also draw Radiant, which is also pretty funny. But yeah, away goes the brand, away goes the back row as well. And yeah, I'm kind of stuck with this. But we still have the token on my opponent's side of the field. Doesn't really matter. We're going to go for the brand here. We're going to banish the back row during the draw phase. And my opponent concedes, realizing, oh, I have like everything. I just drew, I now have 5 cards. I now have a Shipyard as well to search an additional card. And yeah, that game was well and truly over. So, good game. Alright, and here we are once again going first, and hey, look, evenly matched. Anyway, we're going to start off here with Pot of Desires, banishing nothing of real importance, and going for the Redbeard into Bluebeard. We're then going to go into Blackbeard here and draw a card, and also equip to the Blackbeard, because why not? We draw Radiant, which is kind of funny. I'm going to set the evenly matched and pass. There's not really much more that I can do here. I could have tried to... No, I couldn't have gone really for anything else. But at the very least, we have Blackbeard, so if my opponent goes for anything of basically any attribute except for wind, we should be fine and are able to tag out. They're going to start off with Pot of Extravagance, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. They go for Dark Spirit of Malice. I don't know if any of you have ever in your life read this card. It is bad. It's very bad. It's hilarious, though. It is technically a Labyrinth support card, because it's level 8 Fiends. Yeah, so, very funny, but alas, we're just going to banish it in order to get the search for the Shipyard. So yeah, we go for that there. We're also going to draw a card by pitching the, what did we pitch? We pitched the Lightning Storm, because it's going to be dead. And we draw into Imperm, which is a little bit better. And the second evenly, because of course. Anyway, we're going to go for the Shipyard here. We're going to activate the effect of the Shipyard, pitching the Radiant, in order to go for the Black Eyes. We're going to go Black Eyes, grab back the Redbeard, and then my opponent goes for Demise of the Land, which is, huh? Why are we playing this card? Oh, Labyrinth. Why are we playing this card? What is happening? Anyway, we're going to normal summon the Redbeard and then go into the Blackbeard. We're going to activate the effect to equip to the Blackbeard, and then I'm just going to equip with the Emblem here just to do additional damage and to make my Moark at 3,000 attack points. Kind of want to get that threshold of 3,000 attack points, and then I just go to the battle phase. And after I equip, I realize, oh, I don't have a Plunder Patrol card to discard with my Plunder Patrols. So, oops. And then I go to the battle phase and I deal quite a bit of damage, and then I make another big mistake by clogging up my zones. So now I can't actually activate the Blackbeard here to tag out, to potentially draw into that other Plunder Patrol card, because my back row is full due to the infib. So, whoops, again. Anyway, my opponent's going to go for the Allure of Darkness, draw additional cards, banishing Banishment, which is very funny. Out comes the Clue Clock, I'm like, yeah, okay. And then Lady Labyrinth, and I'm like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. In order to deal with the Lady Lab, obviously, just activating a trap is bad, but they already have the Ku Klux, so they're going to activate a trap, and they're going to be able to activate stuff, and I wouldn't be able to target due to the way that Lady Lab works. If they are able, I would imagine that they have multiple set cards that they could set, so they could set to have Lady Lab be protected from targeting, and then this Infib's not really going to do anything. So anyway, doesn't really matter. They're going to go and activate the effect, grab up the big welcome, and I'm going to negate it. That's fine. This does now allow me to tag out, and then they're going to go for the bounce here with big welcome, summoning out the lovely from hand, and also popping with Labyrinth. So they're going to pop my field spell, and I'm like, oh no. Anyway, we go for the second Moark here, and I'm going to go and attach the Blackbeard to it as well. And then we are going to activate the Moark here to their activation, attempting to pop a card. And they actually pop a card in my hand, which is very funny, and they hit the evenly, which is also very funny. But we ended up drawing into, I believe, Whitebeard. So Whitebeard can then summon the Redbeard. I'm like, great, fantastic. They actually attack into my Moark, which is probably the correct option. It's hard to say. I don't really know what would have been the correct option there, but they probably did correctly. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, sorry, I kind of skipped past this, but Lair of Darkness? Huh? No wonder they were bricked. They're going to go for the Monster Reborn here, and they target my Radiant, and I'm like, but why? It is a level 8 Fiend, so it does mean that they... Or, actually, no, it's not. It's not a level 8 Fiend. It's a level 7. Never mind. I think their idea was, oh, I'm going to summon a Fiend so that I have something with Welcome Labyrinth that I'm able to actually do. But anyway, I go for the Moark here to try and banish the Radion. They just give it back. And then they also activate the Lady Labyrinth here in order to special summon itself. That's fine. I'm just going to go for the Blackbeard here and re-equip the Redbeard. And the reason for that is so that I can go for Shipyard. Shipyard bounces the card from the back row to the hand. And so I wanted the Redbeard in my hand. So that's why we linked off into the Plunder Patrol. the Blackbeard here. Now we can go for the Shipyard. So we're going to activate the Shipyard. I'm actually going to pitch this Radion that they just gave me back to go for the Black Eyes. Black Eyes is then going to attach, add back the Whitebeard. We're going to normal summon that and then go into Bran. At this point, we can banish that back row, and we also get to summon the Golden Hair. So we're going to banish the back row and add Bluebeard. We're going to then special summon the Bluebeard and go into another Bran just to boost over the attack point of the Lady Lab. We're going to then proceed to the battle phase and attack in for well over lethal. Good game. Alright, here we are once again going first. Look, you like to go first. It's that simple. It's easier to set up than it is to try and play through things. We're going to normal summon our monster and then special summon the Bluebeard, and then we're going to activate the Whitebeard and the Bluebeard in succession, going into the Yord off of that. We're going to go for the Golden Hair and then activate Yord, grabbing back this Whitebeard, and then activate the Yord once again, grabbing ourselves the Fire Token and the Fire Token. We're then going to go for the Blackbeard here and activate the Golden Hair, pitching the Divicarnate in order to go for the Golden Hair special summon. We're going to go for the Black Eyes here, grabbing back the Redbeard, and then we can synchro those off into Yord. Then we're going to target our Blackbeard to then go into the Bran with the Fire Token. The reason we do this is because Bran does specifically need to be equipped in order to get the quick effect Banish, whereas if it's not equipped, it's just regular, it's like not quick effect Cosmic. Whereas now it's actually Cosmic Cyclone, so there you go. We also drew into Evenly Matched, which is very fun. Anyway, my opponent's going to set 2 and then go for the Chandelier, Sophie Torby, set another card, and then go for Ariane, which is very funny, but nothing I can really do about that one. Anyway, out comes the Ariana here. They're going to then activate the effect of the Ariana, going for the Coup Clock. And at this point I go, I'm just going to activate the Bran here before they can even activate this Coup Clock, because that way I can at least banish something, get a search, and feel decently good about myself. I also forgot to activate Yord on the special summon of my opponent, which would have given me the ability to add a Plunder Patrol card. So, whoops on my part. Anyway, they go for the Coup Clock here, and I'm just going to banish the Compulse. Not the greatest, but we get to add the Black Eyes here as well. We're also going to trigger, I believe it was the Whitebeard that we pitched, but they're going to go for the Lady Lab, and I'm like, that's fine. They also get rid of their own token, which is very funny, but alas, smart. We get to summon out the Redbeard here off of the Whitebeard, which now can be used in order to go into a Morik. They're also going to trigger a whole bunch of effects. We're also going to trigger our effects as well. We're going to tag out into the Morik. We're going to search out the Shipyard off of the Yord, and then they're going to set up the Sophie Torby as well as set a card that they drew off of the REA. We're going to banish immediately the Sophie Torby because they've already activated the effect, and I don't want them to get it back in grave, and it's just like the best to banish here. And then obviously we're going to search up a spell. We search up a spell. We're going to search up the emblem. They're going to set an additional card off of our Evenly Matched that we activated, because after battle, I'm like, hey, might as well deal with something. So they banish 2 of their cards and proceed back to us. That's fine. We have a lot going for us here. We draw into the Booty, which is just another name, which is great. We're going to go and start off with the Yord here. They're going to then activate the effect of the Big Welcome, to which I will negate, because they're trying to banish the Bran. They're then going to activate the Ghastly Glitch, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. They're then going to also activate their Labyrinth, their Welcome Labyrinth, and I'm like, okay, that's where I'm going to interact with you, because, yes, we already saw that this was set, but they're going to pop the Yord, and I'm like, that's fine, but we do now get to go for the Bran for this last back row, also chain blocking the Lady Lab, because they didn't chain it to the Ghastly Glitch for some reason. I don't know why they didn't go for the Lady Lab and then go for the Welcome Lab, but it's fine. We now get a chain block, so oops on their part. It was the second Big Welcome, which is kind of funny. They're going to go for the Lady Lab here, and I'm like, that's totally fine. We're going to grab back that Whitebeard, and yes, the Yord is banished, but I guess it's set back to the extra deck, but that's fine. They're going to go for the Lady Lab, and they're also going to go for the Absolute Backjack. They hit the Emblem, which I'm like, that's okay. That doesn't really do anything, because now we get to go for the Shipyard here. We're going to grab up the Redbeard, we're going to special summon the Golden Hair off of that Whitebeard, and then go for the Bluebeard in order to go into Morik. I should have put this in an attack position, but I didn't because I'm silly, and we're going to banish the Lovely now. We're then going to also search out the Booty, and then re-equip the Redbeard that we pitched off of the Morik to the Morik, giving it that quick effect banish now as well. We then go and activate the the Black Eyes to grab back that Whitebeard, and normal summon the Whitebeard, to which my opponent, I guess, sees the writing on the wall and the fact that I'm going to attack for a lot of damage and have Bran with the effect to banish multiple times, and yeah, they just concede. I don't think I had a way to lethal there. Maybe I could have like gone into Blackbeard, attacked, No, I don't think I had a way to lethal there. But I was able to get a lot of damage onto the field, as well as set up Moerk and Bran with quick effect banishes, which is probably enough. So, there you go. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, I thoroughly enjoy this deck, and I'm very glad that it is playable. Again, missing Almirage does hurt, but other than that, I think you saw, like, most of the time, we didn't even need the Almirage. We have a lot of extenders through Golden Hair, through Black Eyes, through Blue Beard, that most of the time we are able to at least do something with that. And then, you know, also playing the Fusion spell as well as the Shipyard means that you have a lot of access to either getting something into the graveyard or just like Fusion summoning or what have you. It might be more worthwhile to play like a second ship-shape shipping. Ship-shape ships shipping. Dear Lanta, that is difficult to say. Yeah, you can play another one of this in order to get additional access to your list, which is something that I basically never summoned because the monster effect negate is fine, but honestly, it's way more advantageous to just have Bran on your side of the field or a Moerk. And also, it's a lot more difficult to actually summon lists, which is kind of odd. Most of the people are playing just dark monsters. There are very few light monsters, so, you know, it's kind of difficult to summon the list. Although originally I was going Yord into a light token instead to then utilize the Blackbeard to go for the list, because normally that's what you do. However, because of this event and the nature of it with Labyrinth basically running everywhere, I found it better to actually go for the fire token instead of a light token with the Yord to then use the Blackbeard to go into Bran, which isn't as advantageous because List can special summon back the Blackbeard to then go into a different thing, but I found it so much more advantageous to just have Bran than it was to have List bringing back a Blackbeard. So, you know, but that's one of the beauties of this deck, the fact that I have even that choice to kind of go various different ways and decide where I wanted to go. So it was very cool, and I thoroughly enjoy this deck, and whenever I play it, I remember why I play it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, a like is very much appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.